United National Party parliamentarian Sajith Premadas expressed the following views at an event held in Hambantota today.
We are prepared to even sacrifice our lives for the party. Today migratory birds have come from outside and they are attempting to take decisions for the party. These migratory birds are attempting to determine the fate of our supporters who for decades have worked to protect the party. It is saddening that these migratory birds are attempting to determine the fate of the party supporters through using their hands and feet in acts of violence, by dealing blows with batons and acts of thuggery. My friends, the time has come for the party to hold disciplinary inquiries against these migratory birds and their acts of thuggery. Because we cannot allow for an era where party supporters are beaten by thugs, where party supporters are dealt blows within the party itself. Now speaking at an event held in Colombo today, Minister Dallas Alhapperma made the following remarks on the United National Party. The leader of the United National Party is a vice chair of the World Democratic Union. Thereby we have a question as to whether he is giving leadership to the party in keeping with that system. We have taken steps to submit a CD containing photographs and information of this attack to all member nations of the World Democratic Union. We are asking them if these are the individuals with such leadership that constitute their organization. Our politician in Mathura has a target. He needs to prove to his leader that he is more suitable than Tissa Attanaika for that position. He will do many things to achieve this. As a citizen of Mathura, I am disappointed by this. I am ashamed. If they behave in this way when not in government, how will they behave if they come into power? I accuse the United National Party as a whole in this instance. Why? Because while the party supporters are being beaten, wounded and harassed, the United National Party is attempting to save face by remaining silent. There is a single individual, a politician who gave leadership to this. I do not wish to use his name at this point. I think that it was a distasteful act.
Another episode of the Satana political debate program telecast on our sister channel Sirsa TV was held at Stein Studio Complex in Ratmarana.
What the opposition should do is not to keep saying that the leader is wrong and keep preaching sermons. What they should do is build a force to topple the leader. People cannot be brought together. Why did 65 people cross over from that party? What I am saying is that as long as he is there, people will keep crossing over to us.
The present situation in the country was also discussed during the debate.
We could not win in the Northern Provincial Council, but we knew this when we were going in for the election. We know that although we had won the war and commenced development, we would not be able to win over the people there in one instant. We see the fact that this election was held as a victory. There were problems and various talk about the swearing in of the Chief Minister there. In the end, however, we took oaths before our president. We hope now to work with this group democratically in these areas and render the support of the central government. This is a Guinness record. Sri Lanka has the record for the most number of ministers in the world. But this record was set in 2005 with 52 ministers. Now this record has been broken and increased to 66. What kind of country is this? There are 38 deputy ministers. After the elections, the people have received 9 more deputy ministers who will lay waste to the mountain of money that is collected by taxing and burdening the people. The culture of this country has been destroyed. Women from the ages of 4 to 95 are being raped in this country. That is the political culture now. The people are paying for this today. It does not matter if it is green, blue or red. It does not matter how much the people applaud and work up the ministers. They know in their hearts that the small amounts they receive is not enough to live. That is the state of the country. We need to end this corrupt political journey.
And up next is the newspaper cartoon of the day.
The Commonwealth Rally, organised parallel to the 2013 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Colombo, travelled from Puttlam to Negombo today on day 10 of its journey.
An event was held in Puttlam town prior to the commencement of today's leg of the journey. The national flag of Guyana was lowered on the main flagstaff of the main float of the parade, and the national flag of India was hoisted in its place by the district secretary of Puttlam, Kingsley Fernando. Parallel to the flag raising ceremony, the crowds that gathered were also giving a brief introduction to India in all three languages. Subsequently, the Chogam Rally, a joint initiative of MTV MBC networks together with Sri Lanka Youth and the Ministry of Mass Media and Information, commenced the journey to Negombo. The procession received a warm response from people who gathered on either side of the street. The procession arrived in Chilab this afternoon via Palavia, Madhukurankulia and Mundalama. At an event held in the Chilab town, the national flag of Jamaica was hoisted on the main flagstaff of the main float of the procession. The flag was hoisted by Deputy Minister of External Affairs, Neomal Pereira. I wish long life for all of you for bringing people together on this journey to make the pearl of the Indian Ocean, the wonder of Asia. I wish all the best in making this program a resounding success. Meanwhile, blessings were invoked on those participating in the Commonwealth Rally at the historic Munneswaram Kovil. A special mass was held at St. Francis de Sales Church close to Negombo for the Commonwealth Rally. The Chogam Rally will make its way from Negombo to Varanapallu tomorrow.
Now moving on to more local news, 9 persons have been arrested in connection with an incident where a group is alleged to have broken into the Serene Pavilions Boutique Hotel in Wadua, damaged property and abducted a shareholder.
Acting Police Media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohan said that a complaint has been lodged early this morning in relation to the abduction.
The acting police media spokesperson said that a conflict between the shareholders is believed to be the cause of the incident. The individual who was allegedly abducted is being treated at the Panadura General Hospital at present. At about 5:30 this morning when I woke up, I heard a loud noise. I heard shouting, and then when I looked, I saw about 10 people armed with swords and knives on the other side of the glass. I locked the door and remained inside. For about 45 minutes they tried to break down the door and the windows. They couldn't break down the door. About half an hour later, they dragged me out by force. When we were approaching outside, there were 2 policemen there. Then I slipped away to another room in the hotel. I do not know what happened afterwards. They broke down the door and dragged me out again. Then they took me outside, loaded me into a white van and took me away. I do not know where. They put me under a sheet in the van and took me towards Bandaragama. Between 4:45 and 5 this morning, about 30 armed men carrying iron rods and machetes broke in from the beach. They asked me where Lokohetti was. I said I do not know. They asked me what my name was. I said I was Kitsiri. They asked me how I could not know where he was when I have worked for 5 years. Then they caught me and took me along. The acting police media spokesperson said investigations are underway to determine if an abduction has actually taken place.
Residents of Ratapaswala and officials from the factory at the center of the water crisis controversy convened a media briefing yesterday after reaching an agreement.
It was said at this media briefing that it was agreed to remove the factory from the location.
Members of the senior management of the company operating the factory and a group including Venerable Teripasiri Dhammathera representing the people of Ratapaswala engaged in discussions at the police superintendent's office in Gampaha. Both parties signed an agreement to allow production to continue another 6 months and for steps to remove the factory from this location to commence on the 30th of April 2014. It was also agreed that the company would provide financial assistance for 3,000 families, including some of the beneficiaries to receive pipe water.
ආයතනය දායක වන බව මෙහිදී එකඟත්වය පළ කළා. අපිට මේ සාකච්ඡාවේදී පැහැදිලි ලෙස පෙනී ගියා.
It became clear to us during this discussion that this was the only decision that could be taken. There were shortcomings in our relationship with the village, and if there was better coordination between us, this problem may have been rectified long before this. The authorities at the company operating the factory in question had also taken steps to make submissions regarding the agreement reached yesterday before the Gampa magistrate via a motion.
එම ගිවිසුමට ප්‍රකාරව අපි කටයුතු කරමින් නිෂ්පාදන කටයුතු
We informed the court that we will work in accordance with this agreement and recommence production in accordance with this agreement. The agreement we reached was to do with recommencing production. We informed the court that we would take suitable measures in keeping with this agreement.
ආරම්භ කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් තමයි මේ ගිවිසුම තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒට අනුව කටයුතු කරමින් සුදුසු පියවර ගන්න බවට තමයි ගරු අධිකරණයට දැනුම් දුන්නේ.
Meanwhile, some residents protested against the agreements reached yesterday. They say that the factory must be removed immediately.
Meanwhile, the name proposed by the United People's Freedom Alliance for the post of chairperson of the Northwestern Provincial Council was defeated today.
However, UPFA councillor Dharmasiri Dasanayaka, whose name was proposed by the opposition, was elected chairman of the council with a majority vote.
The inaugural sitting of the new Northwestern Provincial Council elected through the recently concluded Provincial Council polls took place today. At the inaugural meeting, the Chief Minister of the province proposed the name of UPFA councillor Indrani Dasanayaka for the post of chairperson. Alliance councillor Dharmasiri Dasanayaka was proposed for the post of chairperson by the opposition. Dharmasiri Dasanayaka was elected as the chairperson of the council with a majority of 8 votes.
Several councillors elected to the Northern Provincial Council from the Tamil National Alliance were sworn in to the council's board of ministers today.
That's right, Stephanie. Another swearing-in ceremony was held at the Veera Singham Hall in Jaffna this morning. The statue of the late S.J.V. Selvanayagam was garlanded at a special ceremony held this morning. The 4 councillors nominated to the Board of Ministers of the Northern Provincial Council were subsequently sworn in. The ministers were sworn in before the Tamil National Alliance Parliamentary Group Leader R. Sambandhan. Public representatives and officials including parliamentarians from the Tamil National Alliance, the Chief Secretary of the Northern Province and the Jaffna District Secretary were present at the occasion. Speaking at the ceremony, the Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneswaran, expressed the following views. We are currently in the post-war period. Our people who had fallen behind mentally and physically and who lost their dignity are now learning how to stand up. We are doing our very best to push them to walk on the road of democracy and to make their lives pleasant. It is not right to be driven by selfishness and put them in turmoil once again. I should reminisce on Selvam Adekalanathan at this instance. I like his oration. It is understood that he who carried weapons at one point is now on a journey of democracy. This is a great example for starting a new life.